officially into the final stretch of the season. Week 15 is almost done, just need the Monday night game. And we're going to recap our picks. Starting on Thursday, the Falcons at the Bucks. I picked the Bucks. We were wrong. They seem like they've been struggling for a while. I don't know why the ESPN app is different. Last week it was changed and it was so good. But anyway, Kirk Cousins was 30 of 44 for 373 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, sacked 1 time. Bijan Robinson had 19 carries for 93 yards and a touchdown. And Kyle Pitts Sr. had 11 catches for 166 yards and 3 touchdowns. Baker was 19 of 34 for 277 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. He was sacked 5 times for 27 yards. Bucky Irving had 16 carries for 60 yards, no touchdown. Mike Evans had 6 catches for 132 yards, no touchdown. Final score 29-28. Atlanta with a walk-off field goal. Arizona at Houston. Picked Houston. Got it right. Houston's defense is just too good to not go against. Jacoby Brissett was 27 of 40 for 249 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. He was sacked 2 times. Michael Carter had 14 carries for 56 yards, no touchdowns. And Trey McBride had 12 catches for 134 yards and 2 touchdowns. CJ Stroud was 22 of 29 for 260 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, sacked 1 time. Jawar Jordan had 15 carries for 101 yards, no touchdowns. And Nico Collins had 3 catches for 85 yards and 2 touchdowns. It seemed like they didn't have that much offense. They still won by 40. Or, they still scored 40. Final score 20-40. Houston. Baltimore and Cincinnati. We picked Cincinnati because of how their last game went, but we were wrong. I know Joe said he's not having fun, and then he came out and said it wasn't aimed at the organization, and I full-heartedly believed it was aimed at that organization. So he will probably not finish his career there. Lamar was 8 for 12 for 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. He was sacked 4 times. Derrick Henry had 11 carries for 100 yards, no touchdowns. And Zay Flowers had 3 catches for 68 yards, 1 touchdown. Burrow was 25 of 39 for 225 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks. He was sacked 3 times. Chase Brown had 13 carries for 53 yards, no touchdown. And Jamar Chase had 10 catches for 132 yards, no touchdown. Final score 24-0. Baltimore. I feel so bad for Joe, playing for a cheap organization. Buffalo at New England. We picked Buffalo, and for a minute there, it looked like we were going to be wrong. Josh Allen was 19 of 29 for 193 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Sacked 2 times. James Cook III had 22 carries for 107 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Khalil Shakir had 5 catches for 65 yards and no touchdowns. Drake May was 14 of 23 for for 155 yards, no touchdowns, one pick. Sacked 3 times. And Travion Henderson had 14 carries for 148 yards, 2 touchdowns. Mac Hollins had 4 catches for 41 yards, no touchdowns. Buffalo comes back from being down 21-0, and they win. The final score 35-31. Cleveland and Chicago. I picked Cleveland just for fun, but we were wrong. Shador was 18 of 35 for 177 yards, no touchdowns, 3 picks. He was sacked 5 times. He was also their leading rusher with 2 carries for 24 yards, no touchdowns. And Isaiah Bond had 2 catches for 89 yards, no touchdowns. Caleb was 17 of 28 for 242 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. He was sacked 3 times. And DeAndre Swift had 18 carries for 98 yards and 2 touchdowns. Luther Burton III had 6 catches for 84 yards, no touchdown. I do believe Myles Garrett ended the game with 1.5 sacks. So I think that means he is 1.5 sacks away from breaking the record. The Chargers and the Chiefs. We picked the Chargers. We got it right. Herbert was 19 of 29 for 210 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. He was sacked 4 times. Marion Hampton had 15 carries for 61 yards, no touchdowns. Ron Gadsden II had 4 catches for 61 yards, no touchdown. Mahomes, unfortunately, tore his ACL. You never want to see that. He was 16 of 28 for 189 yards, no touchdown, 1 pick. He was sacked 5 times.
Gardner Minshew came in and he went 3 for 5 for 22 yards, no touchdowns, and 1 interception to seal the game. I do believe they were in field goal range too. Final score, Isaiah Pacheco had 11 carries for 21 yards and no touchdowns. And Travis Kelce had 7 catches for 70 yards and no touchdowns. Final score 16-13, Los Angeles. We had the Raiders visiting the Eagles. We picked the Eagles, and they won. Kenny Pickett was 15 of 25 for 64 yards. No touchdowns, 1 pick. He was sacked 4 times. Ashton Genty had 9 carries for 35 yards. No touchdowns. Brock Bowers had 6 catches for 28 yards. No touchdowns. Jalen Hurts was 12 of 15 for 175 yards. 3 touchdowns, no picks. He was sacked once. Tanner McKee came in, went 3 for 3 for 33 yards. No touchdowns, no picks. Saquon had 22 carries for 78 yards and a touchdown. Dallas Goedert had 6 catches for 70 yards and 2 touchdowns. Final score 31-0 Philly. The Jets at the Jags. We picked the Jags and we were right. Brady Cook was 22 of 33 for 176 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 picks. He was sacked 3 times. Isaiah Davis had 9 carries for 58 yards and a touchdown. And Adonai Mitchell had 6 catches for 58 yards and a touchdown. Trevor Lawrence was 20 of 32 for 330 yards, 5 touchdowns, no picks. He was was also their leading rusher with 5 carries for 51 yards and a touchdown. And Travis Etienne had 3 catches for 73 yards and 3 touchdowns. Final score 48-20. Jacksonville. Washington at the Giants. We picked the Giants, and we were wrong. Marcus Mariota was 10 for 19 for 211 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. He was sacked twice. And Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt had 18 carries for 96 yards and a touchdown. And Terry McLaurin had 3 catches for 69 yards and a touchdown. Jackson Dart was 20 of 36 for 246 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. And Jameis Winston was 0 for 1. Tyrone Tracy Jr. had 15 carries for 70 yards and a touchdown. And Theo Johnson had 3 catches for 72 yards and no touchdowns. Final score 29-21. Commanders. The Panthers at the Saints. I took the Panthers to continue their hot streak, and they got upset. Bryce Young was 15 of 24 for 163 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. He was sacked once. Rico Dowdle had 16 carries for 49 yards and a touchdown. And Jalen Coker had 4 catches for 60 yards and a touchdown. Tyler Shaw was 24 of 32 for 272 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. He was sacked 5 times. Spencer Rattler came in, went 0 for 1. Tyler Shaw was also their leading rusher with 8 carries for 32 yards, no touchdowns. And Chris Olave had 6 catches for 85 yards and a touchdown. Final score 20-17. Saints. My Lions at the Rams. Obviously I picked my Lions, but we were wrong. It's pretty much how I figured this would go. It'd be a shootout. But it is what it is. You can't win them all. Goff played outstanding. He was 25 of 41 for 338 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. He was only sacked once. Gibbs couldn't get it going. He had 13 carries for 38 yards, no touchdowns. I don't think we're using Montgomery enough, but he had 7 carries for 32 yards and a touchdown. St. Brown had 13 catches for 164 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Stafford was 24 of 38 for 368 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. He was sacked twice. Kyron Williams had 15 carries for 78 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Puka Nacua had 9 catches for 181 yards, no touchdowns. Final score 41-34, Los Angeles. Green Bay at Denver. We picked Denver. We got it right. Unfortunately for Green Bay, Micah tore his ACL. Love was 24 of 40 for 276 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. He was sacked 3 times. Josh Jacobs had 12 carries for 73 yards and a touchdown. And Matthew Golden had 3 catches for 55 yards and no touchdown. Bo Nix was 23 of 34 for 302 yards. 4 touchdowns, no picks, no sacks. RJ Harvey had 19 carries for 65 yards and a touchdown. Cortland Sutton had 7 catches for 113 yards and a touchdown. Final score 34-26. Denver. Phillip Rivers led Colts. Yes, you heard that right. At the Seahawks. We picked the Seahawks. We got it right. Rivers was 18 of 27 for 120 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. He was also sacked once. Jonathan Taylor had 25 carries for 87 yards, no touchdowns. And Amir Abdullah had 5 catches for 32 yards and no touchdowns. Sam Darnold was 22 of 36 for 271 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. He was sacked once. Zach Charbonnet had 8 carries for 31 yards, no touchdowns. JSN had 7 catches for 113 yards, no touchdowns. I think it was all field goals for Seattle. Final score 18-16. Seattle. The Titans at the Niners. We picked the Niners, and we were correct. Cam Ward was 18 of 29 for 170 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, and no sacks. Tony Pollard had 14 carries for 104 yards and a touchdown. And Gunnar Helm had 4 catches for 49 yards and a touchdown. Brock Purdy was 23 of 30 for 295 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. He was also sacked twice. McCaffrey had 22 carries for 73 yards and a touchdown. And Ricky Pearsall had 6 catches for 96 yards, no touchdown. Final score 37-24. Niners. The Vikings at the Cowboys for Sunday night. We picked the Cowboys and we were wrong. JJ McCarthy was 15 of 24 for 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. He also ran one in. Aaron Jones had 12 carries for 34 yards, no touchdowns. And Jordan Addison had 2 catches for 66 yards, no touchdowns. Dak was 23 of 38 for 294 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. He was sacked twice. Javonte Williams had 15 carries for 91 yards and a touchdown. CeeDee Lamb had 6 catches for 111 yards, no touchdowns. Final score 34-26. Vikings. I feel like now that they're eliminated, they're just playing spoiler. Monday night, the Dolphins at the Steelers, and we know how Tua is in cold weather, which is why we took the Steelers, and we were right. Tua turned the ball over, was 22 of 28 for 253 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. He was also sacked 4 times. Devon Achane had 12 carries for 60 yards, no touchdowns. He was also their leading receiver, on 6 catches for 67 yards, no touchdowns. Rodgers was 23 of 27 for 224 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. He was sacked 3 times. Kenneth Gainwell had 13 carries for 80 yards, no touchdowns. DK had 3 catches for 55 yards and a touchdown. Final score 28-15, Pittsburgh. Alright, that was our review for week 15. Now we will make our week 16 picks. We were 9-7 this week. Last week we were 8-8. Thursday, big playoff implications. The Rams already clinched a playoff berth, but I don't think they take the foot off the gas. I don't know if Devontae's playing, but I'm gonna take the Rams. Philly at Washington, I'm gonna take Philly. Green Bay, Chicago, now there's no Micah, and Chicago's getting healthier as the weeks go on. But for Detroit's sake, I believe Green Bay's gotta win this, or no, they won the last one. I think Chicago has to win this one, so I'm gonna take Chicago. Buffalo at Cleveland, take Buffalo. Cincinnati, Miami, I'm gonna take Cincinnati. Kansas City at Tennessee, no Patrick Mahomes. I'm gonna take Tennessee, just for fun. Chargers at the Cowboys, I'm gonna take the Cowboys. Vikings at the Giants, take the Vikings. The Jets at the Saints. Now the Jets just released Alan Lazard, so I'm going to take the Saints. Arizona. I'm going to take the Falcons, the Dirty Birds, the Jags at the Broncos. I'm going to go Broncos. Vegas at Houston, Houston. Pittsburgh at my Lions. I'm going to take my Lions. The Patriots at the Ravens. That one should be fun. I'm going to go with Baltimore. The Niners at the Colts. I'm gonna take the Colts because I want to see Philip Rivers win. Now, we're gonna go over the current playoff picture and then the elimination and clinching scenarios for this week and next week. As we stand right now for the playoffs. For the AFC, it goes Denver, New England, Jacksonville, Pittsburgh, Los Angeles Chargers, Buffalo, Houston. For the NFC, it's the Rams, the Bears, the Eagles, the Bucks, the Seahawks, the Niners, and the Packers. The clinching scenarios this week. Philly can clinch their division if they win, or if Dallas loses, or if they both tie. Green Bay can clinch a playoff berth if they win and Detroit loses, or Detroit loses and Green Bay ties. Chicago is the same way. The Seahawks can clinch a playoff berth if they win or Detroit loses. Same with the Niners. They can clinch a playoff berth if they win or they tie and Detroit ties or Detroit loses. For the AFC, Denver can clinch the division if they win and the Chargers lose, or they tie and the Chargers lose. They also clinch a first round bye if they win, plus the Chargers lose, and the Patriots and the Bills. The Patriots clinch a playoff berth if they win, or if the Colts lose, or if the Texans lose, or tie. Buffalo can clinch a berth if they win and the Colts lose or tie, or Buffalo wins and Houston loses or ties, or if Buffalo ties and the Colts or the Texans lose. Same with Jacksonville, and same with the Chargers. I do believe the Vikings and the Dolphins were eliminated from playoff contention last week. Here are the elimination scenarios for this upcoming week. Dallas is eliminated from title and playoff contention if they lose, or if they tie and Philly ties, or if Philly wins. My Lions are knocked out of the division title contention if we lose, or if we tie and Green Bay ties, or if we tie and Chicago wins. If Detroit loses and Chicago and Green Bay tie, then we are eliminated from the playoffs. Philly is knocked out of the 1 seed contention this week if they lose, or if they tie and the Rams win, or the Seahawks win, or the Niners win or tie, or if Chicago wins. Those are all if Philly ties. Or if Chicago wins, Seattle wins, and the Niners win. Green Bay is knocked out of the number 1 seed contention if they lose, or if they tie, plus Seattle wins, plus the Niners win, plus Philly loses or ties. For the AFC, the Colts are knocked out of the title contention if they lose and Jacksonville wins or ties, or if the Colts lose and the Jags win. The Chargers are knocked out of the division title and 1 seed contention if they lose and Denver wins or ties, or if the Chargers tie and Denver wins. The Patriots are knocked out of the number 1 seed contention if they lose and Denver wins. Same with Buffalo. if Buffalo loses and Denver wins or ties, or if Buffalo loses and the Chargers win, or if Buffalo ties and Denver wins. The Jags are knocked out of the number 1 seed contention if they lose. Houston is knocked out of the 1 seed contention if they lose or tie, or if Denver wins or ties. So that pretty much wraps up week 15. This is the time of year it starts to get exciting, and most of the playoff teams start to kind of show their head. But I thank you all for listening and or watching. I hope you got some well-needed rest or relaxation, and I will see you